Good afternoon, family. How you doing? This is Ronnie Russell, president of the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, and today we're about to have a very good conversation where we're going to be talking about our community update. So we're going to drop the intro, and when we come back, we will be talking with none other than the Boys and Girls Club. Here we go. All right, you could have been anywhere right now. You could be eating lunch. Hell, you may be eating lunch right now, but if you are, make sure you pay attention to what we got going on. Don't catch the itis because you won't know what we're talking about once we get finished speaking. So make sure you pay attention. And while you're watching this, make sure you go ahead and share this, like, follow, whatever it is. What I want to learn from you is, how do you feel today? Write down in the comment section how you feel, or if you don't feel like typing, just find an emoji that actually speaks about how you feel right now, whether it's a happy face, sad face, thumbs up, fist, whatever it is. Drop that emoji just so we can learn more about you and how you feel. And of course, that also taps into the algorithm and it resets and it pushes this live a lot higher on your news feed. So make sure you go ahead and drop that emoji. Don't just hear what I'm saying, but actually do it. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to introduce the very two guests that we're having right now. We're talking to the Boys and Girls Club. We're going to be talking with Mr. Daniel Hall and Officer Hill. Let me bring those two in and allow them to introduce themselves, because I know I won't serve it any justice. I'll probably mess a name up or mess a title up. So please, gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
How you doing, Ronnie? Daniel Hall. I'm the Vice President of Resource Development with Boys and Girls Clubs of Central Texas.
And I'm Detective Hill with the Clean Police Department. And yeah.
I was like I was playing double dutch. Like, okay, he's gonna come with something else. I don't know. So first of all, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to actually just sit down in that shared space and have this conversation. And again, I would like to say, from the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce to you, Mr. Hall, thank you for standing in the gap and even wanting to do a partnership with IBCC with Juneteenth. So why do you feel that it was important to even begin the partnership?
Well, Ronnie, like I told you, but I am I'm not a Texan. I am a white man of privilege, and I knew nothing about Juneteenth growing up, let alone when I came to Texas, and I felt embarrassed by that. I saw what you all were doing around the significance and the momentum of celebrating this as a holiday, which is what it is, and it should be moving forward, and felt the desire to do everything we could to educate our younger generation, whether it's my son or Detective Hills or any of our Boys and Girls Clubs members. Sorry for assuming we had a son or not. To help them learn about the significance of the holiday and to celebrate as a community at large with this special event.
Yes, sir. And again, thank you for that, because you didn't have to do it. You could have done anything on June 19th, but you actually wanted to do something on Juneteenth to celebrate a holiday, which was a Texas holiday that was signed on June 13th, 1979, which was then pushed forward from the Honorable Al Edwards. So if you didn't know anything about Al Edwards, now you do. Now you can Google it and find out for yourself, when did Juneteenth start, meaning the holiday itself, not the entire Juneteenth when it goes back into 1865. But when did the state of Texas put that seal and that stamp on celebrating the Emancipation Day as a holiday? So let's go ahead and talk about, what is Boys to Men. I know it's a song, but let's talk about the Boys to Men program. What is that? Or the involvement? What does that mean? And how can the viewers or the community get involved with it?
Yeah, absolutely, Ronnie. I hope you allow me to tell you a long story for a second. Boys and Girls Clubs exist to provide great futures, specifically for the youth that need us most, to do everything we can to steer young men and young women on a path to be prepared for what comes after high school, to be good citizens, to live healthy lifestyles, and to serve as positive role models for their peers, their youngers, and their olders. One of the things we have been pushing and focusing on for a long time is our teen programming, specifically college and career readiness and post-high school readiness for teens, and our ability to develop one-to-one mentor relationships between positive role models and our teens. And we've talked about that through some grant programs that are coming up. On a Friday a few weeks back, we got notice of a major grant award that was going to give us the resources to really elevate and address those needs I described. The next Monday, Detective Hill and Officer Moore came into our office on a whim and said, "Hey, we've got this idea. We're wondering if you could help us out with it." And as they described it, I about jumped out of my shoes because it's something we've been craving for so long. An opportunity to partner together with another community organization, in this instance, KPD and Killeen ISD, to create a unique mentorship opportunity for young middle school aged men, to expose them to some Boys and Girls Club programming and some Boys and Girls Club facilities, but with the support of a robust team of excellent mentors in the Killeen Police Department. From there, we gathered around a group of leaders at this table, actually, and started to carve out some ideas of what that could look like. I won't give you credit, but I'll ask it that they came to the table with Boys to Men, trademark pending, and we started to run with it. But I'm going to turn it over to Detective Hill to kind of explain what Boys to Men means for him and the motivation behind it.
All right, So me, I've been working at KPD 16 years, and I can tell you just from being at work and just like right now, I'm work with a unit that's attached to the homicide unit, and just going to a lot of these homicides and seeing what the kids look just like me. They're like the majority of murders that we have here in the city, they look just like me. So to just go into those scenes and to see like all of the shootings, where it's like a lot of the young youth are with the gangs and shooting each other up and whatnot. And like, how do we address that? Like, we see a lot of like a national attention being focused on, say, like making like police the enemy, right? Which is, there are some issues there, of course, but it's not the main issue in the community, So it's like, I just wanted to like me having access to the data and to see like stuff that's really affecting our youth and causing them to die, whether it be physically or economically or spiritually. And you start seeing, start kind of just looking at the causations behind that. It's really kind of hard to focus and say now, well, it's the police that's the main issue here, right? So it's like, if we can get the right narrative, because there's that narrative that's out there like nationally, but when you look at even locally, when you just like forget about the national narrative, when you look locally, how can we deny what's going on here locally? As far as like, if you turn on your local news and if you start tracking the victims and the suspects, you start to kind of say like, hey, instead of everybody keep saying like, let's have a conversation, can we do something about this now? Can we address why our youths are running around shooting each other and killing each other and what's not? You see sometimes there's a lot of community pressure where the community, to me, has a pressure to keep the youths in a certain mindset, right? Whether it be, I mean, we can disagree on all the different causations, which is, we would, but still we have to come to the table and say, how can we instead of just bypassing it, because if we look at the news, we see that a lot of the victims, is this young Black victims, all right? So let's be frank. Let's just speak honestly about it. So we need to start having an honest conversation, but not just having a conversation, but trying to do something of it. A lot of times, when I talk to people about this issue, nobody really wants to be honest about it, right? They'll say it's complicated. let's have a conversation. But it's really normally an excuse to not do anything about it. So me seeing a lot of victims that look like me, going to these calls and seeing that they look like me, I decided I need to start trying to do something about it. Um, so that's where I came up with the Boys to Men camp, right? So to think outside of the box, right? So our motto for the camp is exposure leads to elevation, right? So you got the community. I want to kind of expose these, or we want to expose the kids to something different, right? To start getting their minds to think outside of just hanging out in the neighborhood, hanging on stairwells, or just getting in trouble, right? So idle mind leads to trouble, right? So we can get them away from that setting, and probably, a lot of these kids never been camping, never been fishing, never shot a bow and arrow. So we want to start getting them next to strong male role models, that can start to try to give these youth a little bit of guidance and talk to them and ask them, why, like, what's causing you to be angry? Where's the anger coming from? And we start trying to address those issues, but we can't do it dancing around and blaming other things.
Yeah. So are the kids actually leaving this environment? I'm only asking because I heard the activities that you were communicating about. So they're leaving this environment and going somewhere.
Yes. So that's
Okay.
where we in partnering with the Boys and Girls Club, they actually have the Perry Haynes Ranch. And Daniel can tell you the acreage and stuff of it, but it's a little bit, it's in Killeen, but on the south side of Killeen. And it's a camping area, so
is that on 195?
Yeah,
on the left side where you see that weird looking gate that really doesn't hold anything in, like you can walk around it, that place?
No, it's down 195 right before you cross the Lampasas River, up on Maxdale Road, kind of directly behind Texas A&M if you go through some of Fort Hood's property too. But Officer Moore, if I could, Detective Hill, if I could build on that a little bit more. So Boys to Men for us is an opportunity to support the department's community policing initiatives. It's an opportunity to implement our preventative goals. This guy is more than his shield and his gun. I don't know if our kids see that today. Our officers are human beings. They're friends. They're fathers. They're husbands. They're positive factors in our community. And we saw a great opportunity in exposing some of the young people we serve and the young people KISD serves to just that, to helping to build stronger bonds with our local law enforcement officers, to show them that they have the potential to be people that you can trust, not the enemy, people that can support you as sixth grade young man in your growth and development to help achieve your goals you want to through high school and beyond. That's what Boys and Men means for us. That's why we've come to the table to partner with KPD and lead in this effort. And we're excited about it. But to those comments, so Perry Haynes Ranch is a 4,500 acre ranch that we operate under a lease with the state. We run summer day camp activities out there for our younger age youth throughout Central Texas. We also have over a cabin area that has a commercial kitchen and over 160 beds to host outside folks out there. We've got a variety of activities to include high and low ropes courses, archery. We have a rifle range, fishing and canoeing, and then over 30 miles of horseback riding and hiking trails out there too.
That's very interesting. How often do you guys use that area?
Not enough. During the summertime, we typically expose about 1,000 kids to summer day camp activities. During the school year, because of the distance, hours of operation, things like that, it's challenging to create youth-focused activities out there. But we see this Boys and Men camp as an opportunity that we intend to replicate at Perry Haynes throughout the school year and into next summer as well.
Right. So Detective Hill, are you from this environment? Well, from Killeen?
No, sir. I'm actually from the Virgin Islands, but
Okay.
I've been living in Clean since 2001.
Oh, you like a solidified transplant. You been here. You was here way before I got stationed here. So coming from the Virgin Island and coming into this environment, what are some of the things and some of the values that you have carried from your upbringing and from your culture into this program?
Absolutely. So moving here to the States, right? So, a lot of things that when I moved here, when people would tell me like, well, that's, like black folks don't do this or that, some of the things would be like fishing and hiking and camping and that kind of stuff, like, which was surprising to me because I grew up doing all that stuff, So in the islands, I mean, there's black boaters, uh, black people ride horses, I mean, if you look at us, you would think like we're country, but no, I mean, we do all those things,
Yeah.
So fishing, I mean, like little kids, at 6, 7 years old, I remember going to the beach, fishing, bringing the fish back in, cleaning the fish, roasting the fish right on the rocks and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I did as a kid growing up, So, I could say like where I lived at, the violence was very, very low, and I just
Mhm.
remembered just not growing. I remember growing up just not feeling like there was a glass ceiling over my
Mhm.
head, or feeling like I couldn't succeed or I couldn't achieve anything. I just
Yeah.
felt like the world was mine to go get.
Right.
So moving here to the States, uh, I came here, with and I did pretty well, like in high school. I made like straight A's in high school, and but my mom provided a very safe area,
Mhm.
safe. We lived in communities that that didn't have like the violence and stuff like that. So my mom
Right.
made sure we was away from that. So
Mhm.
now seeing a lot of these kids, they live in here in Cleveland, I see a lot of kids live in hostile, neighborhoods that's kind of hostile,
Yeah.
So you see they have to look at like me growing up, I didn't have to look at like people dealing drugs and that kind of stuff. So you see kids here, you have to deal with, seeing like neighbors dealing drugs and people brandishing guns and shooting at each other and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So it's like I feel like we need to start addressing these communities and see if we can how do we get the crime low so we can have these kids not thinking about survival and start thinking about trying to achieve success.
Right.
Where we have kids, instead of just trying to survive, they're thinking about, now how can I own a business, um, how can I give back to the community, like
Right.
how do we get to there? We don't get there by saying like making like the cops the bad guy. Like
Yeah.
in the nation right now, you see like everybody's making the police officers the bad guy, right? Instead of saying like how do you as a young man become a police officer, right? So we can't say like, hey, the police are the bad guy, but then okay, if the police are the bad guy, what do? You know, you're saying the police are the bad guy, but you still can't go be the police as well.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So how do we show the kids, well, the police is not the bad guy? I can tell you for sure the police are not the bad guy. When you look
Right.
at the data and you see like how for real, like how many murders you see police are you versus like what's going on.
Right.
When you look at the crime rate and you look at how much men in the community are falling victim to gun violence, how much of that is the police causing, right?
Right. So let
So,
me
like,
let me ask you this. So if me as a parent, I sign my child up, is
mhm.
there an age limit, Mr. Hall, with this program?
Yeah, Ronnie. So we're targeting middle school age youth, middle school age
Mhm.
men. This is actually at this point we're being very intentional with our outreach. KISD has identified and is beginning to reach out to young men in that age range at some certain targeted middle schools. because we're trying to develop an audience that is constrained in such a way that the volunteers, the KPD officers, the staff we can provide can really build small group environments with the kids during camp, intimate discussions, if you will, and produce the best and most positive impact. I think as we get into the month of June, really mid-June, there'll be some opportunities to recruit others through some broad-based marketing. But right now, the enrollment is very targeted. It is, you are invited, you have been selected to participate in this opportunity.
And so with this camp, we're not trying to look for just the kids that would just normally just go to a camp, right? We want the kids that normally would not be going to a camp. All right. So we want the kids from the communities that and we're looking for the kids, like I say, I mean, we're looking for the kids that would not normally go to a camp. And we wanna, expose them to different things, to archery and different things that maybe get their mind churning to try to start thinking outside of their community.
Or to be frank, Detective Hill, to kids that wouldn't readily jump at the opportunity to engage in a KPD event.
Absolutely.
We want to break down that barrier. We were just talking about how it's been challenging to talk to some of these kids.
Yeah. One thing that happened to us, and just so I just met with 20 of the kids. So it was 3 different officers, went to 3 different schools. We met with 20 kids each, and each of us had the same results. Whereas half was so excited, right? And like me and my group, my 20, I say, hey, how many of you guys been to a camp? Only 3 raised their hand, which was great, because I want them to be exposed and go to a camp. Now, where I got a little heartbroken, of course, was when it was hey, when it came time to sign up to go, it's half of them was hey, we don't fool with the police, and walked out, right? So we want to change that.
How old were they?
They were so that's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so it's middle school.
Wow.
Yeah. So where did that come from? Obviously it's like I say, it's that national media pushing that nonsense. We need to kids past that, So it's I mean, I could tell you a lot of officers here, all officers I know, we love the community. We love the kids, and we don't want kids that scared of us. No, we legit will give our lives for kids, period, for anybody. We're calling a situation, we at the moment's notice will give our lives for the community. So, but we don't want our kids to think hey, the police is a bad guy, when we want nothing more for them to succeed, so so I want to rub shoulders with these kids and show them, hey, the police is not the bad guy, and I just want them to experience different things where they can start thinking outside the box, and maybe start thinking about, how can I be a business owner? How can I have a job where it's maybe paying me $100,000 a year or something, start having them thinking,
how can you go to college?
Go to college, or even more than college, trades. No one's pushing trade schools, not college is not for everybody, but there's plumbing, there's electrician, there's different things where they don't have to go to college, but they can receive training and have a job like plumbers. A plumber can make $100,000, a year. So it's how do you get the kids to start focusing on that stuff instead of focusing on the negativity?
I think that stuff is more so exposure. Kind of like what you're saying, what the program can do to the kids, which is going to give them a different point of view as far as what they can do. I know exactly what you're talking about as far as, when people say, well, Black people don't do that. It's true. It's honest. Those conversations are real. For those that don't know or didn't know, those conversations are real. For me, because I'm prior service, I probably won't go camping because I've gone to the field. That was my camp, and I feel I'm camped out, for me. But when you hear this as a child, and that child is not getting that exposure, so when your child is limited to the amount of exposure, then you're limiting your child's amount of experience. when you enhance the experience of a child, you increase the chances of exposure. And those exposures that you bring to your child can ultimately turn into opportunity. So I'm going to say that again. Your child's exposure to the experience can create the experience of opportunity. When you create that opportunity can multiply itself into being the experience that that child can speak to another child. It's like, you know what? Hey, don't worry about it. I didn't like fishing, but when I did go out there with Detective Hill, fishing was cool. I didn't really like the worms, but I like the fish. So you, either way, you're going to have to get that experience, and it's going to create a lot more. It's going to create that hands-on experience, because right now a lot of youth, their hands-on experience is actually putting hands on someone, or someone putting hands on them. But this can possibly change the trajectory of a child's outcome because the execution is different. So I definitely applaud this program, because opportunity will always breed success, but experience will always be the best teacher. So this program, I see, is going to allow people to be taught a different way of doing things. And because they're being taught a different way of doing things, the conclusion has to change. Not may change, but it has to change. And because it has to change, a child is going to learn more. They're going to meet new friends. You may be in the Willows and another child may come from the Borough, and they might not had normally communicated in the same space. But now when they're in that space and they're out there at that camp, they have the ability to say, you know what, you're not as different from me as I thought you were. Or you're in Harker Heights and I'm, I stay off of Rancier. You're the same child. You're like a child like I am. But now we're coming together and we're learning more about these activities and being taught. So as a parent, or as a man, say someone they might not have a child. Their child may have gone already whether in the military, or they just joined went to school, got hired and left and never came back. How can that person pay it forward by being a part of, is there a mentorship that a parent or a man can sign up into to be a part of this?
Yeah, Ronnie. So let me say a few things and I'll answer your question. So the camp is going to unfold over a 3-day period. It's going to start on July 27, with the first day being at the Killeen Police Academy. After that, next day, we're going to start over again at our Woody Hall unit in South Killeen and trek on down to Perry Haynes on a bus. We'll have a series of activities that day. We'll be delivering a Boys and Girls Club program called Passport to Manhood in revolving sessions that's designed to help kids, help young men learn about the challenges, the skills, the hard discussions of what it means to become a young man. Then there'll be the overnight stay. We'll have another about half a day of that same rotation of activities, and then a graduation celebration at the end. Boys and Girls Club staff is going to manage this camp. KPD officers are going to serve as volunteers and mentors throughout that camp. And there are plenty of other needs for volunteers to support this activity. So if someone wants to pay it forward, to your point, Ronnie, they can reach out to me and register as one of our volunteers. And then we'll work to strategically place them in this activity, or frankly, a multitude of others where that service, that skill set, that positive mentorship is craved throughout the multitude of what Boys and Girls Club offers.
Obviously, what he's saying in a nutshell, because they have to vet. They have to vet.
Yeah, we have certain safety procedures and protocols in place for all our volunteers, so it does have to funnel through our processes.
Now, and I think the parents should really jump at the chance to send their kids to this camp, because we're going to have police officers there providing the security and safety. You can have for every, because we have like the 60 slots right now, so 20. So for each 20, we have like 2 to 3 officers with that group. And then the overnight, because we have the overnight stay, we're gonna have officers awaken up and checking on the kids, to make sure that they're safe and secure. So
Hold on. You said overnight stay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So for you parents, if you're listening, This is an opportunity for your child to be exposed to a lot of great things and a way for you to get away. I'm just saying. So your child's going to be there overnight. They have the police going to be there providing the security, as well as providing their mentorship, as well as tapping into the experiences that everyone that has and will be experienced. And you get the opportunity to go on a date night with your significant other because your child is going to be there safe and sound. So if this does not sound good to you, you might as well turn your laptop, close your laptop, turn your phone off, and just go. No, I'm just playing. Tag someone, tag a parent. It's damn near summertime. School is about to be out, and you're trying to find something for your child to do. And these men are sitting here talking about giving your child an opportunity to do something during the summertime. We know COVID is over. We know the economy is opening back up. So allow your child to be incorporated into something that is going to benefit them. There are summer programs where it's not beneficial to the child. It's just beneficial to the organization that's doing it. But this is a benefact. This will benefit the child. So you will be a benefactor because your child is going to come back to tell you everything that child learned. And that may be something that you and your child can now do together. If your child never gone fishing and they're out there fishing and your child comes back and say, Mom, let's go fishing. I want to teach you what I've learned. That might be something that can bring you and your child closer because that experience that they just received during the summertime. So while you're watching this, don't just watch it. This is not show and tell. This is something for you to actually do. Get interactive. Tag a parent that you know that you had conversations with that were trying to find something for their child to do. There's plenty of conversations that people have after meetings. They have meetings after meetings and they say, well, we don't have nothing for the kids to do. Slap yourself because you're hearing this and you still haven't tagged a parent that you know that need to know about this program. Tag that parent and then you pass this link on to that parent. As you can see right now, I do have Mr. Hall's email address on the screen. Make sure you email dhall at bgctx.org. For you prior military, that's Bravo Golf Charlie Tango X-ray.org. Make sure you email him, connect with him, especially for those that are interested in trying to be a mentor or try to be a part of this program as an adult. Again, you heard it. They're going to want you to actually, I'm sure there's going to be a background check, right?
Yeah.
So if you know you good, you're going to pass that background check. You don't have anything to worry about. But make sure you tag a parent because this opportunity is something that is the beginning of a great thing. Everyone wants to be at the beginning of a great thing. So now you can be a part of this great thing that's going to bring an experience to your child that may be something that you and your child can do forevermore. Mr. Hall, is there anything else that you would like for the people to know? What's new with the Boys and Girls Club outside of this?
Oh, all kinds of stuff, Ronnie. I just want to thank you for that passionate plug and the opportunity to speak today. Like I said, this is the partnership, the type of thing we've been craving for some time. And KPD and KISD's commitment to the Boys to Men camp is really what's gotten it off the ground. It should be noted that for all intents and purposes, this is going to be a free service. We'll have a small $10 fee for camp registration that will come with a backpack and a t-shirt. But other than that, there will be no charge. We also intend to do this concept at least 4 times a year, twice a year with middle school age males, twice a year with middle school age females, to be as inclusive as possible. And the momentum, the opportunity, the impact is only just beginning. This is starting to get the ball rolling on a need, an issue that has been plaguing our community for a while. We're not going to solve the problems we talked about today overnight, but we're going to do everything we can to get that ball rolling. What's going on with Boys and Girls Club? Ronnie, it's the start of summer. COVID is in our tailwinds, and we're eager to get back to normal. But we see summer as an opportunity to hear the noise again. Last time we had a full summer program. My office over here down on College in our old facility ran right up to the playground, and all I heard was the bass line of Old Town Road and little kids' voices singing in the background all day long. I was falling asleep hearing that bass line. I miss that noise again. We're finally getting back to it. We'll be running after our summer programs at 3 locations in the Killeen area: Woody Hall in South Killeen, the McLaurin Boyd Family Clubhouse here, and our teen center on Elm. I'd encourage parents to consider enrolling at Boys and Girls Clubs essentialtexas.org, bgctx.org. As I mentioned, we've had some new grant opportunities coming down the pipe that we're really going to get excited about come the turn of the year, and much more from there. I think what's going on at Boys and Girls Clubs is we're getting back to business as usual. We're really proud of the fact that we kept our doors open throughout the pandemic, but now it's time to get back to normal, back to the business that we enjoy, which is helping kids find their path to a great future. And it's stuff like this that makes it possible.
Yes, sir. Definitely love it. So has the registration been open yet?
For our Boys and Girls Club summer program, yes. Registration right now is in kind of a quiet phase for the Boys to Men camp. If there are parents that are interested in this opportunity, I'd encourage them to email me and let me know about that interest. But we will not open it up to kind of a public enrollment until the very end of the process if we need to fill some final seats. This is our first stab at this. Like I said, we want to be targeted and intentional with whom we're recruiting and onboarding. But as we get the ball rolling, the momentum going through the year, there'll be many more opportunities where parents and kids can participate.
So right now, primarily,
is there a deadline?
Go ahead, Dick.
So right now, primarily, it's KISD. We're actually that's why we got the list of names of kids that were actually getting in trouble, and so that's the kids that we really want in this camp. Okay, so that's the kids we already we have a list, and we're trying to work through that list of kids that we identified from the schools that's been getting in trouble. So we're trying to reach out to those kids. In addition to the T-shirt and backpack for that $10 fee, the kids also going to be getting each kid is going to have their own sleeping bag, which they will be able
forgot
to
about
leave.
that.
When they leave the camp, they get to keep that sleeping bag. So we just had that little freeze, that storm, that winter storm. I'm sure, there's got to be some of those kids probably lose, their parents maybe lost power. Well, guess what? Now, if that happened again next winter, that kid for sure that come to the camp is going to have a sleeping bag. All right. So, in addition to the hiking and fishing and bow and arrow, we have a CPR First Aid, tourniquet. Also, we're going to have how to change a flat tire. So we're going to have some vehicles out there where we're going to be teaching the kids how to change a flat tire. So if any of them have a parent where maybe the parent gets on a flat tire, the parent don't know how to change a flat tire, after the kid comes back from this camp, the kid will be able to kind of guide the parent in how to change a flat tire as well. So a lot of practical application in this camp. So
it's going to be a great camp.
This camp is we have so it's a 3-day camp. So the first day is going to be at the Killeen Police Academy. Of course, we're going to do PT tests and that kind of stuff with the kids and a lot of other fun stuff there. But the next day, it's going to be at the Perry Haynes Ranch, and then that's a day where they stay overnight, and they stay overnight, and then they stay at the ranch the following day, the whole day, and then they go home. That'll be the end of the camp. So 3 full days.
Okay, and it's boys and girls? No, just your boys.
No, just boys.
Just boys at this point.
Boys to men. Yeah, it got me. Somebody said just boys. Yes, boys to men. Boys and men.
And the camp date is rolling around pretty quick, but hopefully, this is a success, and we can kind of follow the growth and progress of these kids after the camp. To try to see if we can steer them away. Did the camp have any kind of impact? So that's what we want to kind of track to see after as well. So, and if we have some, not say if, but we will have some success in this camp, hopefully we can expand on the camp and then make it a yearly thing, or even more than, this thing, hopefully we can do this more than once a year, and just try to start to engage our youth at a young age before they start, go into the system, because we don't want any of the kids to be to go into the criminal justice system, right? So we want to steer them away from that and steer them towards success. So we need to stop saying that we need to have a conversation about stuff, and we need to start doing. So that's where
this is us doing.
And this is us doing.
Yeah, so I'm very interested once the camp is complete. Definitely would love to have you two gentlemen on just so we can hear the outcome on what had happened and what did you learn. If you have any statistical data, definitely interested in learning more about that too.
Yeah.
So before we go, we have a member that is having her book signing this weekend. Miss Sandy J is on the not this weekend, well, on the 5th of June from 5 to 7 p.m. It's going to be at the new bookstore, Modern Tribe Bookshop, which is at 2710 South Clear Creek Road, Suite 109. The bookstore itself is open. Her book is called My Mama Told Me. My Mama Told Me is a very interesting story. Let me move this logo for you guys. My mama always told me everyone has a mom or everyone has someone who always told them to do something. So this is a book where you're able to learn more about not just Miss Sandy J, but also what her mama told her. So if you're interested, contact her. The phone number is 253-224-3838, 253-224-3838, and you can go ahead and pre-order your book prior to the book signing. So again, that's Miss Sandy J. Book signing on June 5th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And thank you, Miss Sandy, for sending your information so we could blast it out. So, gentlemen, I thank you and I appreciate you. Love to have you two back to talk about the outcome of what happened, but also learn more about anything that's new that you're going to build upon even after this. So I thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, absolutely, Ronnie. Thank you.
All right.
All right, you guys. Hey, thank you for being here at the Innovation Black Chamber of Commerce, where we're talking about the Community Connect. And remember, tomorrow is another day for you to be successful.